Hello there, Dino Rangers. Ranger Ron here for some Dino Makes action for you. Really excited to share with you some fun activity you can do anytime. Now, of course, young Rangers, you'll need some adult support, so make sure they've set you up, and ideally, they might even have some fun and get their hands dirty with you. Okay, so this is what it's going to involve. We're going to be making dinosaur fossils today. Does that sound fun? Haha, great, I thought you guys would like this. We're going to make some amazing dino fossil action. Now, the first thing we're going to go and set about making, and this is a lot of fun, it's going to be a dinosaur foot. And then after that, we're going to see if you're capable of making a T-Rex tooth. Now that will be absolutely rawsome, I'm sure you'll agree. And if you're really getting advanced and you're one of my older Dino Rangers, you might even have a go at a dinosaur nest. A load of eggs all crusted together into a fossil, which is a really exciting and rare fossil to find, I have to say. So I know you love your dinosaurs, I know you love getting active. We're going to get ready. Are you ready for it? Excellent. Okay, adults, so just so you know, you ideally need some modelling clay or some Play-Doh. Now, if you don't happen to have these and you can't wait to get hold of some, you can actually make your own modelling clay or Play-Doh. And there's some recipes we've provided you with, but there's lots out there on the internet of things and all that out there on the internet if you want to find a recipe for making your own Play-Doh or your own drying modelling clay. Now, I've got some air drying modelling clay in advance in true broadcast preparation. Here you can see I've got a couple of bags. So, young Rangers, you need to start this activity when an adult has set you up with the right materials and a nice area to work. Hopefully there's a kitchen table you can put some newspaper down or a bit of a mat and have some fun at this. Now, the most important thing is we need to use our dino imagination, because I know you guys love your dinosaurs. What was your favourite one again? Oh, wow! How many of you said T-Rex? Right, okay, well, we're not onto the T-Rex tooth yet, but we'll come to that. First up, I want you to get hold of a good chunk, a handful of dino clay. Of course, not really dino clay, modelling clay. So look, show you that there nicely. We got that beautifully. Okay, so mine is a little bit of a dirty colour. You can get lighter colours than this, and if you make your own, you might find it's quite light, but that doesn't matter, because when this thing dries, you can add paint to it. You can do more with it. You can age it by, rubbing it and roughing it up a bit. But first off, we've got to get the basics right. So if you've got a nice good handful of clay like that, or Play-Doh, and then we need to break it up into 3 smaller chunks, like so. And we got them? Got 3 smaller chunks. They don't have to be perfectly the same, but something similar. Okay, then I'd like you to take just one of them. I'd like you to roll it around in your hand so you make it a bit of a ball. But then, have you ever done this before, where you make a sausage? So I want you to imagine you're just making a sausage now. Now, what we're aiming for here, young Dino Rangers, is we're looking to make an entire toe of a dinosaur. You know what I'm talking about, whether it's a T-Rex or a raptor. You know what I'm saying when I'm saying we need to make it all shaped, a bit pointy at one end. So let's make a beautifully long sausage, and you can see it already starts, because of our fingers, particularly when you've got big hands like Ranger Ron, it starts to take a bit of a knobbly and sort of bumpy shape. And then look, we can point one end of it so it's gone a bit more toe-like that. We can bend it a little bit, and suddenly we have got what I can only describe as something sausagey, but not very uniform. There we are. So we'll put that one down, and we do the same again. So you're going to make 3 of these. Now, if one of them turns out to be big and another one a bit small, it's not a problem, because you probably know dino feet were not exactly uniform. So, but make sure they're in a similar vein in terms of length. And look, we can then bend this one around like so. You can see what we're doing there. Fabulous. We're bending it around, we're making it pointy at one end, because we know how clawy our dinosaur friends were. So we pop that one down, and we're going to do it with a third one, rolling it together. Now, you might not be doing it quite as quick as me, so of course, don't forget, the beautiful thing about the world of video is you can pause me. Oh, you didn't press pause. Feel free to press pause at an appropriate time if you need to catch up, because I want to keep you all excited and there's lots more still to cover. So here we go, we're shaping up our next toe, as I like to call them. So you end up with 3 very similar but slightly different toes like this, yes? Now I want you to place them down, and while they're placed down, I'd like you to squeeze one end of them together. So I'll just show you that to camera a bit there. That position, squeeze one end together. You see how that's happening? Squeezing it together. And look, what we're turning this into now is a bit of a sort of foot-like shape. We can make this end a bit more rounded and a bit more foot-like. You see how we're doing that? It's like 3 of Ranger Ron's fingers. Ha ha! You like that? Ha ha! Superb. Excellent. So that is your kind of end point. You can lay that down onto a piece of paper and that will air dry, because this is air drying clay. If you've used Play-Doh, it's going to stay a bit soft, but you can still have a lot of fun with it and show off to someone in your family or a friend about how you've now got an entire dinosaur foot with toes and all, and you can say, that's my dino foot fossil. And of course, if you get the air drying clay or you make some of your own that you can either bake or air dry, this can become a permanent fixture on your, perhaps somewhere in your bedroom, on the windowsill, or on a cabinet or something. How much fun is that to have made? Now, I know at the moment mine looks a little bit like, well, not very edible sausages, but all the same, you can see where we're going with the idea. Hope you've enjoyed our first Fossil Make Rangers. I'm going to put that to one side. Now, if you've got some more, another block, we'll get that out. So get another big handful of either modelling clay or Play-Doh, and we're off again. We're going to do another fun fossil. This is a great fun fossil I've done many times with youngsters, and I have to say you need more help with this than adults would expect. So you start out with a big clump, because we are now going to set about making a T-Rex tooth, a tooth fossil. Do you know how big a T-Rex tooth was? Some of you sound like you do. Now, I just want to give you all a chance to think about, how big do you think it was? Do you think it was as big as, say, an apple? Or maybe as a banana? What do you think? As long as an apple? As long as a banana? Where would you go with that? You're going for banana, a lot of you. You're right, a very long banana, about 30 centimetres a T-Rex tooth could be, which is actually as long as a ruler that you might have if any of you are at school now. Now, the exciting thing is, in order to make this, first of all, you've got to splat your hands together on your clay, or this is one way you could do it. You could push it down on the surface you're using too. So if you need to put all your weight and strength to make it a bit flatter. So what I always say to people is, start out by trying to make a bit of an egg shape. Bit of an egg shape. You see what I'm doing there? Just stretching out. It's not quite a circle. It's a bit more like the shape of an egg, but we're not making an egg. But what we're then going to do is lay it down and point our hands together like a triangle at one end to really shape this clay into a triangular shape. And you see what I'm starting to do with this? You're starting to push it together at one end, and you're making it pointy and sharp at one end, because we know that the T-Rex tooth was as sharp as pretty much a shark's tooth of today. Very similar in many ways, actually, but certainly a bit bigger. And you can see I'm stretching mine out and making it longer all the time as well. And you do need quite a big chunk of starting clay or Play-Doh to achieve this. So you can see I'm really stretching it out, and it's starting to take shape, and it's starting to be all nice and pointy. And what I always say to my young rangers is, imagine this tooth. What would a T-Rex tooth have been chewing on? You get there quickly, you guys, don't you? So you've been thinking, of course, bones and other dinosaurs, and that's pretty crunchy, and they're going to get some splinters of dinosaur bones affecting their teeth. Let's be honest, they weren't probably going to have their best hygiene, because there was no dentist going to pop their head in a T-Rex mouth and clean it up for them, was there? So I always say, when you've got a nice shape, a nice pointy, elongated shape, a bit like a spearhead in many ways. You've probably seen spearheads in those cave people's pictures and things like that. So imagine you've got that really sharp at one end and a bit more rounded, because it's got to fit into the T-Rex's jaw somewhere up there. So we're going to lie that down. Then I want you to use either your fingernails or perhaps an implement like a back of a pencil to put some, shall we say, deterioration and scratch marks and little holes and things, because it probably would have had a little bit of decay. As I say, they weren't good cleaning their teeth. They weren't eating too much sugar, T-Rexes, but all the same, they're going to have some marks and things from crunching on bones. So I add in a bit of a texture to my tooth. What do you think so far? You are now creating a fabulous looking tooth. Now, the best thing is, if you've got air drying clay or the stuff you can bake, the great thing I think about these as a fossil is, imagine you had this T-Rex tooth, and it's quite good to make it a little bit bendy, by the way. I always say a bit of a half moon shape is not a bad idea, just to really finish it off. You see how I've done that, just curved one side. You can work it on the surface in front of you. But what I think is a fantastic finishing off idea for this fossil make is to poke the end of what I have here, the end of a, what is it? Of course, it is a paintbrush I picked up. But we're going to pick the back end of that, we're going to push it through somewhere at the top there, wiggle it around a little bit, and you see how I've created a bit of a hole. See how I create that hole? Hold it like that, see it in different positions. Put my hand behind it, like that, so you can see properly. But yes, I've created a bit of a hole there. And through that hole, once it's all dried out and set, you could string some string and tie your T-Rex tooth fossil that you've made and pop it perhaps on your back of your bedroom door, on your bedroom wall. And maybe you're going to be painting it a little bit. If it's not the right colour, you might want to paint it a bit of a more milky, yellowy colour to look a bit more like an old tooth. But wow, what a lot of fun. And you could say that's how big that T-Rex's tooth was back in the day. Wow, Rangers, how much fun are you having so far? Ha! Excellent. Now, my last suggestion, and I'm going to have to reuse one of these, so I'm going to put my tooth to one side, and I'm going to bring back the clay that I used for my foot, and I'm just going to roll that up again. Now, what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to show you this really advanced idea. So a ranger really wants to create quite a rare fossil, not being found many times. What about some dinosaur eggs? So dinosaur eggs were pretty much the same as any other eggs. In fact, they weren't humongous, but they were quite big. A lot of dinosaur eggs were more the size of a small football than they were the size of a chicken's egg or even an ostrich's egg and all that sort of thing. But what I want you to do is pick and break up your clay or your Play-Doh and create a bit of an egg shape. So what we could do is we could do that about, well, let's say 4 times, something like that, 3 or 4 times, and create a bit of an egg shape. And then what we can do is we can crunch them together, because when they're discovered as fossils, these things are often quite merged together. And it's been quite amazing, because obviously sometimes, you know, because eggs hatch, the destruction of that egg as the dinosaur gets out of it means they're not very easy to find as fossils. But sometimes we find them that they didn't even make it out of the eggs, and they're all clustered together in a nest. And this has given us some superb ideas about dino eggs. Now, so the exciting thing is now, once you've got a cluster of eggs, you just literally want to shape them a bit more. You could do what I said before. You could even think about putting a bit of a crack in the side of it, here and there, in your sort of design of what this egg might be like. Maybe a crack that's around the top. Imagine it might be making a hole to climb out of. But your eggs might also be ones that never even had the chance to hatch. So how exciting is it making a cluster like that? And you might lay them on a circular bit of clay if you really want to go the full hog or the full dino, and you've got yourself a full dino nest. So you can have so much fun modelling your ideas around fossils. I hope Ranger Ron has given you some ideas today. My Dino Club is going to be full, absolutely packed of activities like this, doing puzzles together, making things to do, games together. I hope that if you love dinos, Ranger Ron's going to see you on my Dino Club. Find out more, just message us, and we'll give you all the information you need. Bye for now.